Welcome to chapter 2 of The Life of Your Dreams, copyright 2014 by Thomas Mtete. Dare to dare. Courage is not the absence of fear, it is the awareness that there is something more important than what you fear. If you can afford it, or if you can do it in your own strength, or if it's a walkover, then you don't need God. But if it gives you wet eyes, a heavy heart, and sleepless, nightmarish nights, then probably it might give God the glory. Hold it by the horns, go for it, and do it afraid. You will live the life of your dreams. In April of 2014, I was invited to speak at a conference in Cape Town, South Africa. My host, Apostle Joseph Simeons, a naturalized South African of Nigerian descent, booked me into a beautiful hotel. Linga Linga Lodge, as it was known, had several campuses scattered across the most upscale part of Cape Town. My abode was an exclusive maisonette perched upon Platkloof Ridge, about 15 minutes drive from the city center. As we drove from the conference venue along the silk smooth roads through dense, well-built neighborhoods and started ascending the terrace roadways towards my hotel, I could not help being awed by the meticulous planning and immaculate grooming of the place. Our elevation on the ridge gave us breathtaking views of the backdrop of the sprawling city of 3 million people, all the way from Table Mountain to the sea. From my vantage point, I had a picturesque view of Table Mountain towering majestically over the concrete jungle that dominated the central flats in the far distance. Our schedule was tight. We had to work early and often go back to the hotel late into the night. On the few occasions that I had free time on me, my favorite pastime was munching on the fruits and sipping the juices in the minibar. Often, a steaming hot cup of decaffeinated coffee with cream came in handy to stimulate my senses and keep my drowsy eyes awake for a few more minutes to enable me catch up with current news and events on the flat-screen Samsung television set. After the news, I religiously watched the Trinity Broadcasting Network, dubbed TBN Africa. Then one day, as I was idly flipping through the channels, I came across Channel E. ETV, as it is called, is the fifth terrestrial television channel in South Africa, apart from the 3 government-owned SABC channels and the subscription Mnet run by MultiChoice. It beams across Africa from Cape Town in South Africa. I often stayed awake to watch the Fear Factor, one of the few television series I've ever followed keenly for any length of time on any TV channel. I got interested because at the time I was doing some research for this chapter. Watching this competition gave me fresh insight into overcoming one's fears. The first lesson I learned was that it pays to overcome your fears. Fear Factor is a competitive game whose emphasis is to face your fears. It has a hefty prize, usually between $100,000 and $150,000 for the candidates who demonstrate the greatest ability to overcome their phobias or their fears. In the different episodes, competitors are lined up mostly in pairs or paired teams to perform a series of scary stunts like scaling a wall, crawling through a muddy, dark tunnel, walking a tightrope, or even putting your face into a bowl full of worms. The second thing I learned was that when faced with our deepest fears, the encouragement of a friend can mark the difference between great achievements and great failure. These people worked in teams of 2 or more. I also discovered that much more than intellect, skill, or even hard work, inspiration is the key to overcoming our fears. Fear Factor gets the most timid people to do the very things they fear, often maneuvering through the scariest stunts. I came to appreciate the importance of teamwork. Whenever we are called to do something scary, getting other people to work alongside us will distribute the load and lessen our fear of finishing the task at hand. Many people fail to finish what they started because they thought it was all up to them, and thus operate in fear of failure. That fear paralyzes their natural quest to succeed and inevitably leads to failure. The fourth lesson I learned, that when we have an all-consuming goal or purpose for doing what we do, we can go through our fears without ever realizing what danger we faced working towards achieving our goals. Bottom line, whenever we face our fears, we overcome them. Courage is necessary because in making headway in life, fear can be inevitable. In the Bible, Joshua had watched in horror as Moses in anger broke the first set of stone tablets containing the 10 Commandments. And it came to pass, as soon as he came nigh to the camp, that he saw the calf and the dancing, and Moses' anger was waxed hot, and he cast the tables out of his hands and broke them beneath the mount. And he took the calf which they had made and burned it in the fire and ground it to the powder and strewed it upon the water and made the children of Israel drink it. Exodus 32 verse 19 and verse 20. As if that was not enough, Joshua looked on in shock as the man of God pronounced judgment on 3,000 people without mercy. And he said to them, Thus says the Lord God of Israel, put every man his sword by his side, and go in and out from gate to gate throughout the camp, and slay every man his brother, and every man his companion, and every man his neighbor. And the children of Levi did according to the word of Moses, and there fell of the people that day about 3,000 men. Exodus 32, 27 to 28. It must have been a fearful thing to be around Moses. He was a dangerous man. You never knew what to expect. One moment his face was beaming with the glory of God. The next minute he was fierce as hell, slaughtering thousands of people. Joshua did not just have a healthy respect for Moses. He must have lived in terror of the man. And yet the children of Israel still had the audacity to complain against him. So it was after the death of this kind of man that God told Joshua to take over the leadership of the congregation of the children of Israel. 2 million equally unpredictable people who would now have to look up to him. Not only was it a colossal task, it was a sockbit for his naive enthusiasm. It was outright scary. If these Jews had stood up against a man of Moses' caliber, what chance did Joshua, a little boy, have against them? What would you do in Joshua's shoes? In Joshua chapter 1, from verse 8, from verse 1, the Bible says, Moses, my servant, is dead. Now therefore arise, go over this Jordan, you and all these people, to the land which I do give to them, even to the children of Israel. Every place that the sole of your foot shall tread upon, that have I given to you, as I said to Moses. From the wilderness and this Lebanon, even to the great river, the river Euphrates, all the land of the Hittites, and to the great sea toward the going down of the sun, shall be your coast. There shall not any man be able to stand before you all the days of your life. As I was with Moses, so I will be with you. I will not fail you nor forsake you. Be strong and of a good courage, for unto these people shall you divide for an inheritance the land which I swore to your fathers to give them. Only be very strong and very courageous, that you may observe to do according to all the law which Moses my servant commanded you. Turn not from it to the right hand or to the left, that thou mayest prosper whithersoever thou goest. This book of the law shall not depart out of your mouth, but you shall meditate therein day and night, that you may observe to do according to all that is written therein. For then you shall make your way prosperous, and then you shall have good success. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and of a good courage. Be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed. For the Lord thy God is with thee whithersoever thou goest. This is Joshua chapter 1, from verse 2 to verse 9. Perhaps as you read this, you are afraid to leave your house at night. You fear to face your landlord. You are scared stiff of going for an HIV test or any medical exam because you fear the possible outcome. You love that girl, but you just can't pick the courage to say anything. You fear to be rejected. You fear to get married. You are married and you are afraid your spouse might die or leave you. You are afraid of what the future holds. You do not know if you will live long enough to see your children grow up. You fear to grow old. You are afraid of strangers. You are afraid you will never be able to pay all your bills. You fear your boss. You fear what will happen if you lose that job. Perhaps you are scared, stiff, of venturing to start your own business. Students panic in the exam room out of fear. You fear to fail. You fear for your health. And this is the big one. Like most people on the planet, you are afraid to die. And the list of phobias and things to fear is endless. Whatever fears you face, nothing compares to the tremor that goes down your spine or the adrenaline that rushes through your system when you are faced with a task on a scale as colossal as Joshua's. Nothing short of divine intervention would wipe out the fear of conflict and ultimate failure in leading so many people. But Joshua had the encouragement of the voice of God. Just like he did for Joshua, God stands alongside his word to offer you the same promise. Be strong and of a good courage. Be not afraid, neither be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you whithersoever you go. Joshua chapter 1 and verse 7. Life will dish out to you some seasons of nerve-wracking fear. Staying alive will occasion moments of intimidation. You will often be required to undertake scary stunts. You might have to go through some dark tunnels or crawl through enemy territory. But Jesus said, be of good courage. I have overcome the world. If he overcame, then you will overcome too. You are destined to win. The Bible studies allude to the fact that the Bible has 365 instances where the phrase fear not or do not be afraid appears. Perhaps it's an indicator that for every day of the year, God has an antidote to your fears. To get immobilized, we get immobilized by the paralysis of fear if we are afraid to dare. But if you're going to make headway in life, you must dare to dare. That's the end of our chapter 2. Watch out for chapter 3 in our next video.